Today we have a very special guest with us, Professor Dr. Shahab Inam Khan. He is in the Faculty of Security and Strategic Studies of International Relations Department of Jahangirnagar University. Sir, Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
I'm well.
Yeah.
Everything is fine.
So in recent times, India has been complaining repeatedly regarding the violence that has been creating in Bangladesh on the minorities. India has been complaining on this issue several times. So what do you think? Is Bangladesh able to tackle this violence complaint against Bangladesh? What do you think?
Well, I mean, India is a democracy. But the funny part is India's reputation, media's reputation is continually degrading if you see the global media index reports, right? It continues to go down. So what does it mean? It means that there's something seriously problem with Indian media when it comes to its relationship or foreign relationship of India. I mean, if you look at their reportings when it comes to United States, it's a huge sort of reporting. But if you look at, unfortunately, quite funnily though, when Mr. Elon Musk met Indian Prime Minister, it was the nannies and the babies sitting in the meeting, right? And which is quite interesting, isn't it? So my point was, I'm saying that you really need to have an authenticity of your news, or otherwise it will be essentially be considered as media bankruptcy. And that's exactly what we are seeing, that high pitch, high decibel shouting, and a lot of people gathering, and everyone is shouting in Indian talk shows. It's quite amazing. To me, it's an entertainment too. I mean, it's like a lot of clowns in a circus. So what my point over here is that Indian media needs to really behave. Even if you look at the Indian journalists in White House, asking Mr. Trump or other spokesperson about Bangladesh, you can see the framings. It's just so obvious that these are so obvious that it was a fed and planted questions. I mean, you just have to use your common sense. You really don't need to be highly educated to understand that. So what we get to see is that these are deliberately done. And now that you go to Washington, which is a major political power, which is which is one of the two superpowers, you really need to create some sort of impact on Washington and Donald Trump administration by quoting some mediocre questions or quite funny questions that George Soros' son came to Bangladesh and, to antagonize Mr. Trump and so on. So you get to see these things quite often. And that's very much, that tells you the quality of Indian media. But again, if you look at Indian media in 70s, 80s, 90s, these were the world-class media. Telegraph, Hindustan Times, Times of India, these were like most respectable newspaper. And look at this Republic TV, or even I used to watch ndtv quite a lot, and then suddenly it has gone really down. So I think these are the problems with Indian media right now. They have commercialized themselves highly, and the problem is this is what happened during Awami League time. Many of the media eventually turned into a propaganda machine. And now that you get to see our media is much more freedom, enjoying much more freedom, they're able to speak as much as they want. But certainly there is self-censorship in Bangladesh. I won't deny that. And there is a lot of uneasiness among journalists that, well, suddenly you get to see that they will be defamed in social media. And we have learned these things quite well from our neighboring countries. So the point is, if you have a little bit of sensibility alive, look at Al Jazeera's debunking of Bangladesh's minority issue. Look at the European disinformation labs. They have really said, even if you look at BBC has said, no, While there is a concern about the rise of extremism in Bangladesh, nobody denies in Bangladesh, but not in a way that it has become an established fact as yet. Here, India can always come and work with Bangladesh closely, that how we can control, curb extremism in the future. And then there are the questions about Bangladesh's ethnic issues. Sometimes, yes, we do get to hear that, and nobody denies that, but not to an extent that as if we have created another Gujarat in Bangladesh or we have created another Northeast India in Bangladesh. I don't think even the most imbecile in global politics would believe that.
So, through this channel of ours, 10 minutes fact check, do you want to express some of your call to the mass people of Bangladesh?
No, I think we should not see everything from a very, emotional point of view. We have to be pragmatic sometimes. We have to be practical too. And I think Bangladeshis are extremely generous. We have given shelter to 1.3 million population of Myanmar. That's us, right? And we should be able to embrace others' concerns too. And if the Indians can get, here the Indian economy can get some benefit, or political parties can get some mileage from our generosity, let it happen. So I think we should remain as generous we were, and we don't see majority minority problem. We do see there are problems. Of course, there are always some flings coming out from here and there. You get to see in every country. You get to see in Europe far rights coming back. You get to see even in Israel. Look at what's happening. If you see in the US, you get to see a lot of far right supremacists coming out. That doesn't mean that the entire country is like that, right? So my suggestion has always been that we should remain generous. We should continue to focus on our economic development. We should not be very worried about all these media propaganda, with an understanding that they need it for their own domestic purpose. And of course, to go to Washington and places, because they can't go to Beijing and say these things. Beijing has really put a limit to that, so that's not going to work. And I would say that Bangladesh should be wholeheartedly help India in making its security stronger in Northeast India. There's no harm in that, but not at the expense of Bangladesh's national security or national interest. If we want to construct an air base in Lalmonirhat, we should do that. If we think that our water should be managed by other countries, let them do that. And everything has to be calculated according to Bangladesh's national interest. And I think that's what this interim government is trying to do. And that's what I believe that the future governments will try to do.
Thank you so very much for your time, sir. And we are honored to be with you. So, dear viewers, we had a wonderful time with our honorable guest. And we hope you really enjoyed it. The insights we have achieved from this session, I hope you have liked it. Thank you very much. Stay tuned with the 10-minute facts check.